श्रीगणेशाय नमः। श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यत इति मे निश्चिता मतिः। We are seeing the answers to the argument that the Grantharambha, the text that you have started composing, is useless, futile. Why? Because the book that you are writing or composing is for a mumukshu, the one who is desirous of moksha, and nobody desires for moksha, and even if they desire, there is no such mumukshu available or possible. And on this basis, different arguments were made. First of all, arguments were made based on the definition of moksha, and those were answered. How was it? How was the argument raised? It was said that the definition itself is wrong. Why? Because the first part of definition, the destruction of this entire creation along with its cause, ajnana, nobody desires for that, for which the answer was given, eventually they will, because by that alone all sorrows will be removed. The nishesha nasha, the total destruction of sorrows, cessation of sorrows is possible only by atmajnana. And for that matter, everybody will desire for atmajnana. Then unsurpassed happiness is possible only when Brahman is gained. Therefore, people will desire to gain Brahman. So the definition was proven to be right. And then the another argument that nobody desires for something which is not known or which is not familiar to him was answered by saying it is wrong to say that people desire for only for a thing which has been experienced. No, that's not the rule, because people desire for that similar experience and the object by which that experience can be gained. And this argument, this answer was further extended to say that people desire happiness in general. Why? Because the question that was raised was, if people desire sense pleasures and those sense pleasures, if they are not available in moksha, how can people desire for moksha? For which answer was given, no, no, no. The thing is, people desire happiness in general. They are not interested in the source from which that happiness comes. If that happiness comes from objects, they will pursue objects. And if that happiness comes from somewhere else, they will go for that. If it was true that people desire happiness coming from sense objects, or they desired sense pleasures alone, then nobody would have desired for deep sleep. Why? Because in deep sleep no objects for experience are available. Yet the ultimate happiness, the highest form of happiness, is experienced in deep sleep. And because highest form of happiness is experienced in deep sleep, in absence of object, and that deep sleep is desired by everyone. People do desire for happiness which is not coming from sense objects. Now, where is this happiness coming from which is in deep sleep? That is from our Swarupa, that is Brahman. Therefore, people will desire for that source which is Brahman. So, it is wrong to say that because people desire Vishaya Sukha alone, they will not desire for moksha. Vaishayikamev sukham. This we had seen, but let's see again. Vaishayika sukham sarve abhilashanti iti etat asamanjasam. Kim tarhi sarve sukha samanya michanti. Sukha samanya. Samanya is general. And Vishesha is something special. So, gold ornaments. In gold ornaments, gold is samanya. When you go for purchasing gold ornaments, you are purchasing gold. You are trying to invest in gold. But if you try to go for particular ornament, then you are selecting Vishesha. Taccha sukham vishayajanyam vastu taditaratva. Then let that happiness be from Vishayajanya, from sense objects or itarat, from anywhere else. Yadi विषयजन्य सुखमेव इच्छन्ति इति उच्यते तर्हि सुषुप्ति सुखे न स्यादेवेच्छा कस्यचिदपि. If it was said that people desire for Vishaya Sukha, then they will desire for nothing else. They will not desire for happiness coming from Sushupti. Vishayajanyatvat tasya, because that happiness is not coming from Vishayas. Ataha, therefore, sukhasamanyameva sarvepi ichanti na vaishayika sukham eva iti niyamaha. Ataha, sarve sukhasamanyam eva ichanti. Everybody desires happiness in general, not happiness coming from sense objects. प्रत्युत सर्वेषां प्रत्यहं सुषुप्तिगमनात् स्वात्मसुखेच्छा एव जायते इति वस्तुस्थितिः. So whenever people go in deep sleep, what they are experiencing is they are experiencing their own swarupa. Now let's go further. Sukhamaham asvapsam iti paramarshena निरतिशय सौषुप्त सुखस्य आत्मस्वरूप सुखत्वेन निश्चितत्वात्. Now, how can you say that people experience highest form of happiness in deep sleep? Simple, it is our anubhava. Sukhamaham asvapsam iti paramarshena. Paramarsha, the conclusion. What is the conclusion? After we wake up from a very good night's sleep or deep sleep, what do we say? I slept happily. I was the happiest person alive. Is it not? So, sukham aham asvapsam. I experienced happiness. I gained happiness. By saying thus, niratishaya saushupta sukhasya. Niratishaya. No other happiness can surpass the happiness experienced in deep sleep. So that niratishaya saushupta sukhasya. What is its source? Atmaswarupa sukhatvena. Its source is Atmaswarupa sukha. Nishchitatva. Thus it has been nishchita, concluded, ascertained. Kincha taratamyopetam vaishayikam sukham sarvapraninam siddhameva. And taratamya, the deliberation, there where there is gradation. Better word is gradation. The vaishayika sukha, all sense pleasures, they can be graded, which are better, not so good, okay, like that. Simple example. If you, let's pick up any object, any food item, and when we take that food item, let's say pav bhaji. Now we start grading that based on where it is available better. What are we trying to say? That food item prepared in such and such place tastes better than the other, meaning it gives me better happiness than the other. Now here even the object is not different. Object is of same type, but yet there is gradation in happiness experienced. And this is siddhameva, very much evident for all animals. We don't have to go any code, we don't have to perform any scientific experiment to ascertain this. Therefore, ataha asiddhe nitya niratishayaika एकविध सुख प्राप्तौ एव इच्छा नैसर्गिकी सर्व प्राणिनाम. That which is asiddha, that which is not very much evident, but it is nitya. It is always the same. It never changes. Niratishaya, unsurpassed. Ekavidha, of one and one type alone. Sukha praptau, that to gain that sukha, that happiness. Ichha, the desire. Naisargiki sarva praninam. Now ataha, here ataha is change of topic or contrast. What is in contrast with the earlier statement? Earlier statement, Vaishayika Sukha is Taratamyopetam. Happiness where there is gradation. So animals or all jivas, they will desire for that happiness where there is no gradation, which is nitya, which is niratishaya. Nitya, eternal, same all the time. Niratishaya, that which is unsurpassed, that which is ekavidha, not anaikavidha, not of different types, one type, one and one type alone. For such happiness, if desire arises, that desire is natural. Then let that happiness be asiddha. That may not be evident for them. They may not know that such and such happiness exists, but they will desire, which is a very common thing and which is a natural flow or natural law. When I experience something which is continuously changing and I am not happy with that, I will desire for something which is permanent even though I may not know what that is. I will search for something which will last longer. That may not be evident for me right now, but I will search for it. And when I say I will search for it, I will have desire to gain that. In the same way, because the happiness with gradation is very much evident, and I desire where such and such gradation is not available, that happiness, even though it is not evident, it is not known to me, desire will arise. Tadrusham cha sukham nitya siddhatma swarupa sukhameva. That type of happiness, tadrusham, tadrusha is similar to that, or of happiness of that type, is nitya siddha atmaswarupa sukhameva, is our happiness principle, the nature of Atma, Brahman. What type of Atma? Nitya Siddha Atma Swarupa Sukhameva. Now, Nitya Siddha Atma Swarupa is all these are Visheshana, adjectives for Sukham. What type of Sukham? Swarupa Sukham, which is my own true nature. My own true nature, Atma Swarupa Sukha. What type of sukha is that? Siddha, evident, which is experienced. Nitya, which is eternal, same all the time, which exists. What we have seen, what is Nitya? Kalatrayepi tishtati iti. That which was there in past, which is in present, and which will be there in future, which is not bound by time, space, and object. काल देश काल वस्तु अपरिच्छिन्न, not limited by space, not limited by time, not limited by an object. आत्मस्वरूप सुखमेव च मोक्षः न इतरत्. And that happiness, Atmaswarupa Sukha, is moksha, that is moksha alone. Naitarat, nothing else. Tasmat sarvepi mumukshavaha eva. Therefore, everyone is a mumukshu. Nasteva mumukshuhu kadachidapi iti sahasamatram. So to say that a mumukshu, a person who is desirous of liberation, is not there, to say such a statement is sahasa. It is outrageous. It is impossible. You are just exaggerating. You are completely wrong. Now, second argument is now being taken. Satyapi mumukshau tasya moksha granthe pravruttyanupapattehe tadarambhaha vifalaha iti dvitiyaha api pakshaha na sangachyate. Now your another argument. What was that argument? Satyapi mumukshau. Let's accept there is such and such mumukshu, a person who is desirous of liberation. Tasya, his moksha granthe pravrutti anupapattehe, pravrutte anupapattehe, pravruttyanupapattehe. He will not have pravrutti, tendency towards moksha grantha, this text which shall give him moksha. He will not have tendency towards learning, towards studying this text. Tadarambhaha vifalaha. Therefore, to write such and such text is futile. Why? In simple terms, the composition of this text is futile. Why? Because even though there may be a mumukshu, that mumukshu will not take up study of this text. This argument, iti dvitiyaha pakshaha api, this second part also na sangachyate, does not go along with the truth. It is fallacious. Here we ask to the person who has raised this question, atra vadi prashtavyaha. If somebody raises such and such argument, ask him. Vadi prashtavyaha. Ask him. What should we ask him? Asmin granthe mumukshoho pravrutyabhava karanam kimasya granthasya moksha sadhanatva bhavaha kim va itopyutkrushtasya sadhanatamasya granthantarasya sattvam va uta vedanta grantheshu yani sadhanani shamadhinyuktani adhikari visheshanattvena tadrusha शमदमादि साधन चतुष्टय सहितस्य ज्ञान संपादन योग्याधिकारिणः एकस्याप्यभावः वा. Let's ask him these three questions. What are these three questions? Asmin granthe mumukshoho pravrutyabhava karanam. In this text or for this text, mumukshoho pravrutyabhava karanam. Why will he not take up the study of this text? Pravrutti, the tendency or the purpose. Abhava, the lack of purpose. take up study of this text. Why will he not take up the study of this text? किमस्य ग्रंथस्य मोक्षसाधनत्वाभावः? Is it that this text is not going to give him moksha? Or किं वा इतोप्युत्कृष्टस्य साधनतमस्य ग्रंथांतरस्य सत्वं वा? Or there is other text which is better than this one and which is much more prominent. Itopyutkrushtasya, a text which is much more better than this one, which is sadhanatama, which gives better means. Is such text existing anywhere else? And because of such text, the person will take up study of that different text and not this one. Uta, or Vedanta grantheshu yani sadhanani shamadini uktani. In all these Vedantic texts, the means which have been aforementioned, which have been said, shama, dama, etc., shamadini uktani, adhikari visheshanattvena, which were the visheshana of adhikari, which were the prerequisites for a mumukshu. Tadrusha shamadhi शमदमादि साधन चतुष्टय सहितस्य ज्ञान संपादन योग्याधिकारिणः एकस्याप्यभावः वा. Tadrusha, of that type, whatever that has been mentioned or required, such and such, shamadhi sadhana chatushtaya sahitasya, a person who is shamadhi sadhana chatushtaya sampanna, full of shama, dama, etc. Jnana sampadana yogya adhikarinah, an adhikari, a qualified person who is very well eligible for jnana sampadana, gaining happiness, jnana, knowledge, brahma jnana. Ekasyapya bhavaha va. Ekasyapi, there is not even a single person. Is it that there is not even a single person who has shama, dama, etc. in abundance and is a well qualified person to gain brahma jnana? Okay. You say that mumukshu will not take up study of this text. For him to not take up study of this text, or for any person not to take up study of this text, there are three possibilities. One, this text does not give moksha, that which he desires. There is some other text which gives better means and which is much more better than this text. Or the mumukshu itself, or the adhikari for brahma jnana, he himself is not there. Only three possibilities. Let's say it is the first one. Na adyaha, not the first one. Which one was that? This text will not give moksha. Nahi grantha moksha sadhanam. We never said this text is going to give moksha. What do you mean? Then why are you writing this text? Let me explain. This text is not going to give moksha. Then what is going to give moksha? Yataha, we had said, tameva viditvati mrityumeti ityadi pramanaihi jnanam eva moksha sadhanam nanyad iti siddhantaha taccha jnanam vedanta shravanadeva jayate. What did we say about moksha? Moksha is gained. Ati mrityumeti. Mrityum atyeti. He surpasses death. He goes over death. He conquers death. What do we mean by conquers death? He gains moksha, liberation. How? Tameva viditva. By knowing that Brahman alone, he gains moksha. And by many such इत्यादि प्रमाणैः. What do we mean by प्रमाणैः? वेदांत वाक्यैः. Many such Upanishad statements we have said that Jnanam eva moksha sadhanam. Brahma Jnana alone is means for liberation. Brahma Jnana alone, moksha will be gained, liberation shall be gained. Jnanadeva tu kaivalyam. Na anyat. There is no other means other than Brahma Jnana. And because this is Siddhanta, this is well established fact, well accepted fact. Siddhanta, what is Siddhanta? Vadi prativadibhyo nishchito granthartha, nishchitaha artha. In an argument where both the parties are trying to come to the truth, the conclusion, by their argument, the statement which is accepted by both, not because, okay, let me accept because I don't have many proofs to support mine. No, they are really inquisitive of what the truth is, and they may have different means of approaching the truth or conducting inquiry. And when they ask questions to each other, finding the fallacies in the modes of both, and when they come to a conclusion to where they both accept this must be the truth, that is Siddhanta. And what is Siddhanta of Vedanta, which has been accepted by all? Jnana Devatu Kaivalyam. All as in throughout all Upanishads, throughout Vedanta. And that knowledge, what knowledge? The Brahma Jnana, Vedanta Shravanadeva Jayate. That knowledge takes place by Vedanta Shravana alone. What do we mean by Vedanta Shravana? Author knows that we may not remember what he had taught us. So he explains that again. Shravanam api dvividham. Shravana is of two types. Prathamam Vedanta vakyasya shrotrendriyena sanyogarupam. Vedanta vakyasya Upanishad vakyasya mahavakyasya va. So, of that Upanishadic statement, a statement from Upanishad or any Mahavakya, etc. Shrotrendriyena sanyoga rupam. Listening to that statement being heard by a person. Shrotrendriyena sanyoga rupam. It should fall on our ears. Vedanta vakyartha vichara rupam tu dvitiyam. Conducting secondary inquiry or conducting inquiry into those statements to come to a conclusion is the secondary Shravana. Tattu dvitiyam. We had seen Shravanam, in the meaning of Shravana is vichara, inquiry. But that is in secondary sense. In primary sense, what is Shravana? Shrotrendriyena sambandha mahavakyam. The listening to Mahavakya from a competent guru by a competent adhikari, by a well-eligible person, and when he hears that statement, when that statement falls on his ears, that is that Shravana in primary sense. But when the knowledge does not take place, the inquiry which is conducted into that statement, that is secondary. Vichara. Etayoho jnanasya mukhya sadhanam prathamikam shravanam eva natu dvitiyam. The first one, where Mahavakya was uttered and it was heard by Shishya, that prathamika shravana, that primary listening shravana, is mukhya sadhana, is the primary means of knowledge or the main means of knowledge, or to be precise, those are the means of knowledge. Dvitiyam tu, Dvitiyam, secondary, is just to clarify the doubts, that is not in true sense means of knowledge. शाब्दबोधं प्रति श्रोत्रेण शब्दसन्निकर्षस्यैव सर्वत्र कारणात्वाङ्गीकारात्. Here a technical statement has been given. Why do we take प्राथमिक श्रवणम एवं मुख्य साधनम? Because shabdabodham prati. Let me just give you an idea, an example by which this statement will be much more clearer. Now you are inquiring into Machu Picchu, which is a Mexican city, ancient city. You want to know about that city. Maybe that's in England, but let's say wherever it is, wherever that city is, you are trying to inquire the location, how it looks, etc. Now, when you ask someone, he utters the words, and when those words are heard by you, then alone the knowledge will take place. Now, this is a very much general example just to explain. Now, for knowledge to take place here, this statement which was uttered by him had to be heard by you. Why? Because to know that a desired object, the only means which is available to you is the statement of the person in front of you. No other means are available. Now, how can he explain to you what that object which is desired to be known? The only way to express which is for a human being possible is by uttering words. And when words are uttered by some other person, they are required to be heard by the other person. So, when those statements, the words are heard, then knowledge will take place. That's why Shabda Bodham Prati. Let's come to this. Shabda Bodha, this is referring to Shabda Pramana. Nowhere else, not in Pratyaksha, not in Upamana, Anupama, Upamana, Arthapatya, etc. In Shabda Bodha, wherever Shabda Pramana comes into picture, there Shrotrena Shabda Sannikarshasthaiva Sarvatra Karanatvaangikarat. How knowledge takes place? Shrotrena Shabda Sannikarshasthaiva. The words which have been uttered, only when they come in contact with the person who is listening, then alone the knowledge will take place. So, listening is taken as the Karana. Listening is taken as Karana. Therefore, Shravana becomes means of knowledge. अतः वेदान्तवाक्यस्य श्रोत्रेन्द्रियेण सह संयोगरूपश्रवणम् एव ब्रह्मापरोक्षज्ञानहेतुर्भवति. Therefore, वेदान्तवाक्यस्य महावाक्यस्य श्रोत्रेन्द्रियेण सह संयोगरूपश्रवणम् एव. Shrotrendriyena Sanyoga Rupa Shravana is technical term for listening. If we are to translate in English, it will be when Mahavakya which has been uttered, when those words fall on the ears, then that which is heard, that listening is the means for Brahma Aparoksha Jnana. Brahma Aparoksha Jnana. For the Aparoksha Jnana of Brahman. There, Tatra, Avantara Vakya Shravanam Paroksha Jnana Hetu. But if the statement which has been uttered, if that is not Mahavakya but Avantara Vakya, then the knowledge that takes place will be Paroksha. Mahavakya Shravanam tu Aparoksha Jnana Hetuhu cha iti cha Prak Pratipaditam. Mahavakya Shravana is the cause for Aparoksha Jnana. This has been explained earlier. Yasya tu पुनः ज्ञानोदयानन्तरमपि असंभावना विपरीत भावने संभवतः. But even though after listening to Mahavakya, even though when the knowledge takes place, the person for whom asambhavana viparita bhavane, asambhavana and viparita bhavana sambhavatah are there, satu द्वितीयं विचाररूपश्रवणं मननं निदिध्यासनं च तन्निवृत्तये करोतु. Then let that person who has asambhavana and viparita bhavana, let him do the secondary shravana. What is that? Vichararupa shravana. Doing vichara, conducting an inquiry again and again. Or manana, reflecting upon that which has been heard, and nididhyasana, ascertaining the meaning which has been come to a conclusion, the meaning which has been concluded by Shravana and Manana, repeating and asserting that in our mind, that is nididhyasana. Such nididhyasana, Shravana, Manana, nididhyasana. तन्निवृत्तये करोतु. तन्निवृत्तये असंभावना विपरीत भावना निवृत्तये. For removing asambhavana viparita bhavana, the obstructions which were there in Brahmajnana, for removing those obstructions, let him do this secondary Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. Now what is this secondary Shravana? It is now explained. Idancha dvitiyam vedanta vakyartha vichara rupa shravanam. This secondary Vedanta Vakyartha Vichara, Vedanta Upanishad, Vakyartha Upanishad Vakyartha, the meaning, the conclusion of Upanishadic statements. Vichara, inquiry, conducting an inquiry into the conclusion of Upanishadic statement. Such a Shravana, such an inquiry. What is that? Kim Vedanta Vakyani Brahmadvitiyam Pratipadayanti Ahosvid Arthantaram iti eva Arthantaram ittevam atmakam. What is this inquiry? Do Vedanta Vakyani Kim Brahmadvitiyam Pratipadayanti? Do they explain Advitiya Brahma, the oneness of Jiva and Brahma? Ahosvit or Arthantaram, or the conclusion is somewhere else? Is it that Jiva and Brahma are one and one alone, or the conclusion is somewhere else and this is an intermediary step? By conducting such inquiry, what is the result? Vedanta Vakyeshu Utpadyamanam, Vedanta Vakyeshu Utpadyamanam Asambhavana Rupa Samshayam Nirasyati. That Asambhavana Rupa Samshaya is removed by such inquiry. Let's understand what's happening here. Vedanta Vakyeshu. In Vedanta Vakya, in Upanishadic statements, Utpadyamana, that which arises. What type of samshaya, what type of uh, not doubt? Asambhavana Rupa. The conclusion or that which has been taught in Upanishads is not possible. This is the samshaya, this is the doubt. Upanishads say, I am Brahman, but I doubt. Then let's conduct an inquiry. Do they really say that I am Brahman, or the conclusion is somewhere else? And when such and such inquiry into that doubt is conducted, the result is it is sure, for sure, that Upanishad statements say that Jiva and Brahman are one and one alone, nothing else. That's what is the conclusion of Upanishadic statements. Then why should we do manana? Mananam hi prameyagata sambhavanam kim जीव ब्रह्मैक्यम वास्तवम उत तद्भेदः इत्यादि संशयात्मिकाम निवर्तयति. Now here the next part is manana. In manana, prameyagata sambhavana. The doubt is in prameya, that which is to be known. And what is that doubt? Kim jiva brahmaikyam vastavam. Okay. Upanishads say that jiva and Brahma is one. But that oneness, is it reality? Vastavam uta tad bhedaha. It's just an exaggerated statement. Ityadi samshayatmikam nivartayati. First was, is Brahman Advitiya or not? Is it talking about oneness or not? And the second is the oneness which it talks about. Is that oneness real or just an exaggerated statement? By manana, is it real or is it false? That doubt will be removed. Then why do we need nididhyasana? Nididhyasanantu देहादि दृश्य प्रपंचस्य जीव ब्रह्मणोश्च भेदः सत्यः इति इत्यादि अनादि काल सिद्ध विपरीत भावनां निशेषम उन्मूलयति. By nididhyasana, देहादि दृश्य प्रपंचस्य जीव ब्रह्मणोः च भेदः सत्यः. This body is real. This entire creation is real, and the difference between Jiva and Brahman is also real. This iti anadikala siddha viparita bhavana, and this viparita bhavana, this contrary understanding, is from many births. Anadi, when it has started, nobody knows. This viparita bhavana, to remove this viparita bhavana, because even after we have ascertained this viparita bhavana, because it has been with us for many births, it won't go away that easily. And to remove this, nididhyasana is required. And by nididhyasana, this viparita bhavana निशेषम उन्मूलयति. इत्थं प्राथमिकं श्रवणं ब्रह्मात्मैक्य ज्ञान द्वारा मोक्ष हेतुः, वाक्यार्थ विचार रूपं द्वितीयं श्रवणं मननं निदिध्यासनं च इत्यादि असंभावना विपरीत भावना निवृत्ति द्वारा मोक्ष हेतुः. That prathamikam shravanam, the primary shravan, the first type of shravana, is directly responsible for giving me moksha. Brahmatmaika jnana dwara. It will give me the knowledge of oneness of Brahma and Atma or Jiva, and by giving that Brahma jnana, aparoksha Brahma jnana, it will be the cause of moksha, liberation. And the secondary, the Vakyartha Vichara Rupa, where Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana is conducted, by those Asambhavana, Viparita Bhavana, the obstructions in gaining the knowledge which should have been gained by Prathamika Shravana, the primary Shravana. Those obstructions will be removed, and by removing those obstructions, the secondary Shravana will be the cause of moksha. Vedantaha. All throughout we said Vedanta, Vedanta, Vedanta. What is Vedanta? Vedantaha iti Upanishadaha eva uchyante. Vedanta is nothing but Upanishads alone. Now, next time we will again see what is this primary Shravana and secondary Shravana, because understanding this is very much important. Why? Because the means of knowledge, and that what we desire by gaining that knowledge, the relation between these should be clear to us. We will inquire into that, but that we will do the next time. Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ